Good evening, lovely students. How are you doing? This is a catch-up class intended to help bring you up to speed on the things that you should have learned in the past week. You can write down the dates now, the topic and the subtopic neatly in your notes. Make sure you follow the Preston notebook policy, your double underlines and your margins ruled properly. I'd also like you to write down the lesson objectives in your exercise book now. Today we'll be talking about tables. And you might be wondering, why tables? Why do I need to learn how to create a table in my quest to being able to design a website or to become one of the pro web designers of the world? Well, table helps you organize the content you put on a web page. For instance, the text, the images you put on it gives it a consistent format. So you want to learn how to use tables and how to use them very well, and that's what we're going to do in today's lesson. I'd like you to write down the basic structure of an HTML code. What is the first set of codes you need to write down before you start building a web page? I'd like you to write that down. You've learned that in the previous lesson. You may pause this video to complete that now. Here it is. So what is the first thing I need to do when creating a web page? I want to create a web page file. So I'm going to go to the Start menu, Notepad. There are other softwares you can use for this, but for now we're going to concentrate on using notepads and learning HTML codes properly. I'm going to save this as .html. I want to save it on my desktop, so I'm going to type in catch up 1, and don't forget to put .html. You learned all this already. I'm saving it on the desktop. So catch up 1.html. Now this is it over here. I'm going to open this now with Notepad. The first thing I would like to do is to insert my basic codes, the one we talked about just recently. So I'm going to copy and paste. So this is the basic structure of your HTML code. And remember, under the head part you have your title. So I'm going to put a title here. Catch up long title. Okay, the next thing I want to do is go ahead and create my table. To create your table, you use anything you're going to add, anything you want to see on the web page must come in the body. Let me say that again. Anything you want to see on the web page must come in the body. So I'm going to create my table tag. Whatever I open, I must close. So I close the tag. Now let's go to the file we really want to work on, or let's see the table we really want to work on today. So over here, I like to create on my web page. So you have inside these tables the dimensions of each of the cells. Those dimensions are not meant to show. The 200 by 30, it's just showing you how the dimensions, how wide or how high each cell of the table is. Okay, looking at this table, we have 3 rows. Don't forget, rows are horizontal. 3 rows and 3 columns. Columns are vertical. Now, using this information, we'll go back into the code and try to create that. Okay, so the first thing you want to create in your table are your rows. And to create your rows, you use the TR tag. The TR tag. So, whatever you open, you close. That's the general rule. There are some exceptions to those rules, but most of the times, when you have an opening tag, you also have a closing tag. And since it's 3, I'm going to copy and paste again. So we have 3 rows inside this table. 1, 2, and 3. Now let's go back to the project we're trying to complete. You will notice that we have 3 columns. But the way we do it in HTML, we don't really look at it as columns. We look at the cells inside each row and we try to create it. For instance, we'll have 3 cells inside the row 1. Inside your first row, we'll have the first cell, the second cell, and the third cell. Also, inside the second row, we have that, the first, the second, and the third. And inside the third row, we have the first cell, the second cell, and the third cell. And that's what we're going to try to do now. So I'm going to move over here. To create those cells, we use the tag called TD. TD. So you open, you close. You open, you close. I'm just going to copy and paste this. And I'm just going to paste this inside the TR because they all contain and inside my third row I create the 3 tables. Okay, let's add some letters to these tables, to these cells of the table. I'm going to save. I'm going to try to reopen. Okay, so you can see some tiny things here. This does not look like a table. Why? Because it does not have borders. So how can we ensure that the borders are showing? We go back into our code, and under the table tag, you need to pay attention. Under the table tag, the opening table tag, you type in, inside the opening table tag, you type in border equals to 1 in quotes. Very important. Border equals to 1 in quotes. Let's save and let's see the effect of that. Can you see? Very quickly, we can now see the borders there, but you would notice that you have 2 borders. There is the table border and there's the border of each of the cells. There's a table. Let me enhance it so that you can see it even more clearly. Okay, this is what you have. So we have 2 borders, the table border and the cell borders. We're still going to talk about this in great detail in the next class, but I just felt you should see that now. Okay, moving on. This is very tiny. How do I resize this? Okay, we will use what I call the embedded style sheet. The embedded style sheet. So what is the format that takes? Style, you need to pay attention, equals to, after that you have double quote. Anything you're going to type in after the style equals to needs to be inside this double quote. And I want to increase the width. Now, when it comes to dimensioning a table or putting dimensions on cells of a table or a table, you can either specify it in pixels or you can specify in percentage. I'm going to specify in percentage now. The percentage I'm specifying here is going to be relative to the percentage of the entire window browser, or the browser window, the entire browser window. So I'm going to say occupy just 50%. So width. Now, instead of typing equals to in your embedded CSS, your equals to is synonymous to your colon 50%, and your comma is synonymous to your semicolon. Okay, let's save and let's check what we've done. Let's refresh this. Yeah, you can see that it's actually filling 50% now. Okay, I don't want it left aligned. What if I want to center align this table to the window? How do I do that? There's a code for that, so you're going to be learning lots of codes. After this comma, which is semicolon, you type in margin dash left equals to auto. That equals to is what? Colon, don't forget, semicolon, margin right dash right equals to auto. I'm going to change that. I'm going to go back to my okay, I did not save, so I'm going to save and I'm going to come back here. You can see it's center aligned. Okay, let me dimension the cells that I have now. So if you see this is 200 by 130, 350 by 130, 320 by 130. You would notice that 130 is common. The way dimensioning occurs, or the way dimensions are specified, is width times height. So you have width by height, 200 by 130. And since it's the same row, they all have the same height, the same row height. So that's the first thing I want to do. I want to enter the row height. So I'm going to go back to my code, and inside the TR section, I'm going to also use this style that I just showed you how to use. Style equals to, in quotes, this time around, height colon 130px. That's how to specify pixels, 130px. Now I'm going to come back here and check. Okay, the width of the first cell is 200, the second cell is 350, and the third cell is what? 320. So I'm just going to go back and enter that. So for the first cell, which is this first TD, so that this does not waste my time, I'm just going to copy this and paste here. So I'll change this to width equals to 200, and then the second one I'm going to paste inside this TD I'm going to paste this inside this TD. So I believe I have 350 for this. Let me check again to be sure. 350 and then 320. Okay, let me check what has happened already to my first row based on these dimensions I just introduced. So I'm going to save. I'm going to refresh. Can you see that? So the row height has changed and the widths also have changed. So I'm going to do that for the second row and the third row using these dimensions. So after you're through, not to waste time, after you're through, you should be having something like this. So I'd like you to try that yourself and see if you arrive at the same answer as I'm going to arrive at. This should be 100. This should be 150. Now, if you've typed everything correctly, this is what you would arrive at. G, H, and I. Okay. Now going back into our project, you can see some text that we need to add. My name is Poedita, first row, first cell. I live in Warri. Second row, second cell, and I am a Zambian, third row, third cell. So come in here, I'm gonna type in my name is Poedita. In the second row and second cell here, I'm gonna type I live in Warri, Nigeria. And here I'm going to type I am a Zambian. You would notice that I have removed all the letters that were there before. So you need to do that when creating the table. So once you use those letters at first to make sure everything is set up, but once you've set up your table, you can remove the letters. Now let's come to there. Let's check what we have here. You would notice that it's not the same thing that we actually have here. So let's talk about the alignment now. There are two alignments that are at work in this table. There are two alignments that are at work in this table. The vertical alignment, which is top, either top, middle, or bottom. And the horizontal alignment, which is either left, center, right, or justify. For the first row here, where we have my name is Poedita, you can see that the alignment, the vertical alignment is middle and the horizontal alignment is left. Let's go through that now in our code. So inside the TD tag, the first row, first cell, vertical dash align equals, remember my equals is semicolon, a semicolon, equals top. For your horizontal alignment you use text align, so text dash align sorry, I typed vertical instead. So your codes have to be correct or else it may not work. Okay, I'm going to check this now. This is in my project, it's bottom alignment and right align, right bottom, and this is center and middle. So let me make those changes now. My code. I'm going to copy this because I don't like typing. There's lots of copying and pasting you can do when it comes to coding. So vertical align, instead of top, I change it to bottom, and then this is right. Also inside here, vertical align, middle, and this is center. Notice the way I spelled center, not R-E but E-R. In HTML, American spellings are used. Take note of that. Yeah. To create a table, we use the table tag. You open it and you close it. After that, you count the rows and columns of a table. Always remember, rows are horizontal, columns are vertical. You use the TR tag to create your table, called the table row. You use the TD tag to create each cell in your table, and this should be placed in your table row, the TR tag. So you have your TR being placed inside the table, and then you have the TD, that's the cells of each of the rows, being placed inside the rows, inside the TR. Now to show table border, you specify inside the opening tag of the table border equals to 1 in quote. Don't forget to hide the table. That's what you do. Okay, you can either dimension a table using percentages or pixels, and here are examples of doing that. Now, the dimensions of cells are specified width by height. Okay, to dimension a row, that's an example of how to dimension a row. Most of the time you specify the height in the row. There are exceptions to the rules which we'll be talking about later on, but most of the time that's what you do. You don't specify the height in the TD, you specify it in the TR. Okay, and that's how to dimension the cells of a row, TD. To center align, margin left auto, margin right auto. Horizontal alignment, use text align. I have left, center, right, and justify. And don't forget, American spelling is used. So instead of RE for center, it's ER. Vertical alignment, you have top, middle, and bottom. And that's how it's specified, vertical align. Thank you for watching.